This morning, I woke up before my alarm due to a pungent burning smell. I knew someone would call my name. A man's voice echoes through the house. Claire! Knew it. I rubbed my eyes, slipped on my slippers, and headed to the kitchen. There, I saw a familiar sight. A salt and pepper-haired man wearing an apron, mask, and protective glasses, along with rubber gloves, battling a frying pan as oil splattered everywhere. Seeing me, he exclaimed with relief. Claire! My savior! I'm leaving all this to you. He quickly removed his protective gear and disappeared like the wind, leaving me with the chaotic kitchen. Let me introduce myself. I'm Claire, an 18-year-old with the physique of a 30-year-old postpartum auntie. The man you just saw is my dad. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel to find out why my dad has to call my name every morning. My mom passed away in a car accident when I was 10. My dad single-handedly took care of me. Apart from cooking, he is competent and resourceful. Family circumstances led me to the kitchen, igniting my passion for food from a young age. This passion drove me to discover creative dishes, gifting me a bit of a nice turning me into a mobile mushroom. Hence, I often get teased at school, especially by Shara, who sits a row away from me. Shara always looks down on me because she has the body of a model with perfect measurements. To maintain such a figure, her lunch is always just vegetables, avoiding meat and fish. I admire her for that, as I can't stop my passion for food. Initially, I was a bit self-conscious, but then I found it quite normal. Dad says being fat or thin doesn't matter, as long as the body is healthy. So, I ignored the whispers and even cooked my own lunch to save money. Things were calm until one day, our teacher announced a new male student transferred to our class. His name is Max. With his handsome face and tall stature, Max quickly won over the girls in class. Seeing how he interacted with everyone, I didn't quite like him. His stylish clothes make him look like a playboy, perfectly matching Shara. Beautiful people like them usually look down on chubby ones like me. My bad impression of Max made me avoid him, but unexpectedly, during lunch at the school canteen, Max sat down opposite me. As soon as he put his lunch tray down, I felt like I was under the scrutinizing eyes of my female classmates, like judges looking at a criminal, wishing they could shoot me for daring to approach a handsome guy like me. But Max seemed oblivious to this. His eyes gleamed as he stared at my lunchbox and said,
"Wow, your lunchbox looks so tempting. Where did you get it?"
I knew I was under the watchful eyes of the surrounding girls. If I said or did anything unwise, the consequences would be terrible. But remaining silent to Max would be rude. I chose to answer briefly. I made it myself.
Really? You're so skillful.
Can I try a piece of that rolled egg? How can someone be so presumptuous? He didn't even ask for my permission. No.
Come on, it's just a piece of egg. We're classmates. We shouldn't be petty with each other, right?
But forget it. The satellites around were ready to fire at any moment. Ignoring Max's provocation, I decided to focus on my lunch. However, Max kept babbling incessantly.
Do you dare to compete with me? If I win, you'll let me try the egg roll. If I lose, I'll give you my fried chicken piece.
I touched at the chicken in Max's lunchbox. Untouched, the batter looked crispy with the side of rice. I really like the fried chicken at the canteen. It's truly delicious, but not cheap. Why should I compete with you?
Because my chicken is better than your lunch.
Then eat your chicken. Why are you so interested in my lunch?
I like eggs. Your egg dish looks really unique.
Now I understand why Max was so insistent on trying my egg roll. Considering everything, I had little to lose in this challenge. Eggs or chips. And if I win, I get the fried chicken. What do you want to bet on?
I'll ask you a question about eggs. If you answer correctly, you win.
That's it? Yep. If it's an egg riddle, I'm not afraid. My food knowledge is so extensive from my cooking experience that I could write a book about it when I'm old. Even tell stories to my grandson. With my passion for cooking, I was confident about winning that fried chicken. Alright, go ahead and ask.
How many calories are in a 50 grams chicken egg?
Calories are actually my Achilles heel, as I never carry weight issues, so I never explored this topic. Will I lose the fried chicken over the calories of a chicken egg? I suggested. Can we switch to another question?
That means you don't know the answer, right? You lose?
Don't jump to conclusions. I'll guess 100 calories.
The correct answer is 72 calories for a 50-gram chicken egg. You can verify this information on the internet.
Max happily forked a piece of egg roll from my box and popped it into his mouth. Delicious! I didn't expect your taste to be so good. I forced a social smile, internally screaming for him not to say another word. But God didn't hear my prayers. After trying the egg roll, Max suddenly proposed that I cook lunch for him, offering to pay the equivalent of a canteen meal. I heard the clinking of forks and plates from all sides. The sound was scarier than a wordless horror soundtrack at this moment. Deal. You mean a deal, right? Honestly, I wanted to refuse, but the tuition deadline was near, and this deal seems quite profitable. After a moment of hesitation, I finally agreed. Our arrangement was established. Since then, I brought 2 lunch boxes to school every day, and my wallet naturally became a bit bigger. Through cooking for Max, I realized he wasn't like what I thought. Turns out, Max's parents were always busy with work and rarely cooked at home, and the dish his mother often made was eggs. That's why he was so obsessed with my egg rolls. Most importantly, Max never teased me about my appearance like other classmates. He was friendly to everyone. This made me gradually feel more fond of him. Sometimes, when daydreaming, Max's face would unintentionally appear in my thoughts, surprisingly and inexplicably. Maybe because we ate together every day, his image had become familiar in my mind. The news that I was cooking lunch for Max soon spread throughout the class. The girls started looking at me with scrutinizing eyes, and their comments about my appearance became more intense and harsh when Max wasn't around. Especially Shara. She seemed irritated, as if I were a thorn in her eye. You know, Max, my cooking skills aren't bad either. My parents always praise me for being skillful every time I cook, especially when it comes to egg. I heard you also like eggs, so let me make lunch for you. Dozens of eyes in the classroom certainly focused on me. My heart became anxious, and my pulse raced for no apparent reason. Suddenly, I hoped Max would reject Shara's offer. Not because I was worried about losing the extra money from him, but I couldn't explain why I didn't want Max to agree. What's wrong with me? Max put his hand on his chin, appearing thoughtful. My heart pounded even faster, fearing he would not in agreement. Sorry, Shara. Claire is already cooking for me, and I don't want to change that. Max answered indifferent, but it filled me with joy. The corners of my mouth opened, while the class covered their mouths in shock. Only Shara's face was stiff as wax, likely to shatter if touched. She forced a fake laugh, then quickly returned to her seat as if nothing had happened. Because of Max's satisfying response, I didn't care about the criticism about my body. But my small happiness didn't last long before it was extinguished. In a chance encounter with Shara in the girls' restroom, she suddenly asked me, "Hey, Chubby, you've fallen for Max, haven't you?" What do you mean? Don't deny it. Do you think Max would notice a fat girl like you? Max only came to you for the egg dish that reminds him of his mother. Otherwise, what do you have that stands out for him to remember? Your body like a mobile mushroom? Stop daydreaming. Shara was right. I lack Max, and I am indeed fat, both chubby and short. Since that day, I developed a habit of looking in the mirror every morning, checking if I gained any weight. The seed of integrity in my heart began to grow as I thought about Shara's physique and the girl's admiration for Max. I started to change my diet more strictly. Of course, Max's lunchbox remained the same, only mine changed. Meat and carbs were gradually removed from my meals, replaced with green vegetables. I also started avoiding being close to Max. Not that I stopped liking him, but I didn't want to delude myself into thinking I was in love with Cinderella meeting her prince. Such stories only exist in movies, and Cinderella was beautiful. She was just mistreated. Max seemed to notice my change. He asked, "Claire, you've been acting strange lately. Is something wrong with you?" "No, nothing. What's weird about me?" "Your meal portions have changed, not as diverse as before, and I feel like you're avoiding me. Because I don't like meat anymore, and I'm not avoiding you, you're just imagining it. Maybe I've been focusing more on studying for exams lately." Is that so? Max stopped after saying that. Our lunchtime ended heavily. We shared less with each other, only eating in silence. Shara seemed quite happy. She often came to Max's desk to discuss schoolwork, and Max was always enthusiastic. This made me very sad, and my diet became even stricter. Surprising even my dad. He asked jokingly if the sun had risen from the west, seeing me change like that. This concerning Shin, my dad's mate. She said, "Isn't it because everyone teases you about your looks? But that's nothing new, right? Or is it because of Max? I've noticed you two acting strange lately." "No, I just don't want to spend money on new clothes if I gain weight." Every morning, I looked at myself in the mirror and checked my weight. My skin became dull, turning pale and tired. Seeing the weight decrease on the scale makes me content with the result, considering the signs as a fair trade-off. That was until I fainted while cooking and had to be urgently hospitalized. The doctor said I was exhausted due to malnutrition and needed an IV to recover. I took a few days off school and rested in the hospital. The number of calls asking about me were countable, including one from Max. "You were hospitalized due to physical exhaustion? How did you know?" It was easy to guess. With your diet like a sniffing cat, it was bound to happen sooner or later. Max seemed to understand me well. He wanted to visit, but I refused. Honestly, I didn't want him to see me in such a pitiful state. After nearly a week of rest, I returned to school. Everyone remarked that I had lost quite a bit of weight. I took it as a compliment, smiling and thanking everyone I met. Surprisingly, Shara also actively inquired about me in the classroom. I touched Max's seat and saw he was still there. Maybe that's why Shara suddenly became nice, trying to please Max. But I was wrong. Shara would never say anything nice to me. "Claire, why do you have to suppress your eating habits for a guy? Weren't you always indifferent about your looks before?" "Oh, Claire lost weight for love?" Before I could deny it, the bell rang for class. After the lesson, everyone seemed to forget the incident, so no one mentioned it again. Only Max wouldn't let me off. At lunch in the cafeteria, he asked, "Is it true that you're losing weight because you like a guy?" Do you believe Shara's words? We're not close. How would she know my personal matters? "Then can you tell me the real reason why you're losing weight like this?" "Whatever the reason, it's my business. But I thought we could share things with each other like we used to. Don't you consider me a friend anymore, Claire?" "Right, I don't consider you a friend anymore." I speak my true feelings. I really couldn't see Max as just a friend anymore because I liked him. "Okay then, you don't have to cook for me anymore." "Okay then." I agreed without much thought. We officially fell out. 1 week, 2 weeks passed by. No more lunch times at the cafeteria together or conversations shared with Max. Sometimes, I saw Shara trying to find excuses to eat alone with Max, but she was always rejected. I felt half happy, half sad. Happy because since Max transferred to our class, I was the only one who had lunch with him. Sad because we no longer had a chance to go back to the old times. But even that short-lived joy disappeared the day I saw Max having lunch with Shara. I was disappointed and decided to stop dieting. Returning to being the short mushroom as before, my dad jokingly said, "The sun is rising from the east again." Thank goodness. Making me unsure whether to cry or laugh. I was convinced I had nothing to do with Max anymore. But a month later, he took the initiative to approach me during lunchtime at the cafeteria. "What do you want?" "I want you to continue making lunch for me." "What? But you said you didn't need me to..." "I know everything now. Shin told me about you being teased about your appearance. I'm sorry. I didn't know you had been enduring such ridicule for so long." I realized everything and suddenly understood Shin's curiosity for being useful after so many useless times, except for one thing still spinning in my head. "I cooked lunch for you, but what about Shara?" "Oh, what about Shara?" "I once saw Shara having lunch with you." "Give me that piece of egg roll. I'll explain it to you." Max very naturally picked a piece of egg roll from my lunchbox without waiting for my nod, but I let him to do so and waited for his explanation. It turned out that after Shin recounted the story of people teasing me about my appearance, Shara approached Max to invite him for lunch. He agreed to go with her to clarify things and told Shara not to tease me about my appearance story about the weight issue. If you want, I'll join you in exercising to lose weight. It's moderate and safe. So, can you feel at ease to continue making lunch with me now? Max and I started having lunch together on weekends. He would take me for a run and help me list healthy dishes for weekends. The whispers in the class gradually died down, and I think Max might have interfered. Life around me became peaceful and comfortable as ever. After some time, I successfully lost weight and became relatively well proportioned, followed by a love confession from a boy in class. He was also quite attractive and kind, worthy of being the ideal boyfriend. But unfortunately, I had already fallen for someone else. I turned down the confession and told Max about it. Is the guy you like the one Shara mentioned, who often has lunch with you in the cafeteria? I smiled along with him and didn't reply. That's the story of my weight loss journey a few years ago. Every anniversary, my boyfriend still likes to remind us how we came together through that magical egg roll.